Okay guys, hello. Today we are with Mateusz Łaszkiewicz, which recently got 14th place at Dortmund Regionals, and this is old school, old-fashioned deck profile on his Banette EX deck. So tell us everything about this deck, your deck choices, and why did you decide to even play this deck to an event?
Okay, so basically, I refuse to play anything else. This deck is like the most confident deck for me. There is no reason to change it. I just changed some cards in it and it's working like almost every event. So let's start with the list. It has 4, 3, 1 bonnet line. It's like you can't cut anything from that and add anything to that. 4 Sharpet is basically to start with it, to have it in matchups where you need to play with 3 Banette EX, and yeah, 3 Banette, you don't always use 2 or 3, sometimes you use 1, but you want that in matchups where you use 3 and also to get it consistently.
Yeah, because like basically, if you don't get Banette turn 2, then your deck, something's wrong with your deck.
Basically, one thing I can already explain, and you'll see that it's like pretty important. Your deck need to be much more consistent than every other deck, because if you are less consistent and you whiff, then your opponent will like you prevent setup from your opponent. So you basically need to be more consistent. Otherwise, they will set up, and you can't prevent them from doing that.
Okay. Now Kirlia line.
Yeah, so that was pretty weird, but we played 3, 4, 2 Kirlia line.
Guardian line.
Guardian line. So basically, it was earlier like that. We played 3, 3, 2.
Yeah.
1 more skip. It's sometimes good. I never like thought about changing it because you always can against Dragapult or something like that just bench it earlier to evolve it, and you always like have Sharpet, so they can kill something with 60 HP anyways, and it's sometimes good. We got 4 Kirlia.
Yeah.
So we wanted to draw Kirlia every single time. The most games that I lost was to not drawing Kirlia, basically.
In previous events, right?
In previous events, yeah. So we added 4th one. You don't need 3 Kirlia on board in almost any matchup, maybe sometimes against Bolt. So you don't need 4 routes, but you want to draw into Kirlia.
Yeah.
And 2 Guardi, it's nothing special. You can attack with it, you need to for retreat, for doing Monkey Dory combos, so it's just normal.
Yeah, okay.
Now, another new inclusion was adding 2 Monkey Dory instead of 1. So this was really good from 2 reasons. First is it allows you to basically play 2 Monkey Dory in some matchups. Sometimes you can set up 2, but it's also like I sometimes wanted Heavy Ball just for Monkey Dory. So I thought, why not just add 2nd Monkey Dory? It's much more consistent that way. And you basically set up Monkey Dory every single game, in every matchup, so you just want to because of it.
Yeah. There was a problem with finding his 1 ball, and Monkey Door you can get with any ball search. So
yeah, and basically if you set up like 2 Monkey Dory in some games, it's just it's so free.
It's win. Okay, 3 support Pokemon.
Yeah, it's first is Stump, so that's like mostly against Zard and Lugia. Because against Lugia,
Okay, nice airport announcement, but we are back.
Okay, we are once again back. Spiritomb. It's mostly against Lugia and Zard.
Yeah.
Against Zard, what you do is if they set up Zard, it's not a problem. Like people say, oh, if you set up Zard, they win. But the problem is Pidgeot, basically, because if they have Pidgeot, they can search energy every single round. So what you're gonna do is bench Tomb to prevent them first from getting Luminion. So sometimes they can't Arven more consistently to get Pidgeot. And you try to item lock them before they manage to set up Pidgeot. And second thing is that they can draw with Rotom under item lock. So you don't want them to do that because they will draw eventually energy, Turo, stadiums, boss to get around GameStone. So you want to Tomb for that. And against Lugia, basically this matchup works like that they don't have Cincino in play because you play around that, and they can only get prizes with boss. So you want to prevent Luminion from happening.
Also, Tomb, you forgot to mention it. Zard every turn with Rotom can get 4 cards for a possible Charmeleon, but with Spiritomb on board, only 1 possible card each turn.
One another thing I can mention is sometimes when I bench the Tomb, some players don't bench Rotom even if they should. So that's another funny thing, but I won't get more into that. Another thing is Alakazam.
Yeah.
It's I don't even know what to say. It's basically if you want to trap something, it can be good if you want to like swap damage onto things like Hoot or anything like. It's just that good. You need to play it to see it, but
Good attacker.
also good attacker. You can like not even into huge hands, but as a one prize attacker, it's also good.
Yeah, last card.
Now,
MVP.
the last Pokemon is Mew. So, actually, I'm using much more Mew as a draw option instead of attacking it with it. It's a plus that it's a 5th Shuppet because it has 3 retreats. You can draw with it because you have like 4 Ultra Ball in deck, so it's pretty consistent. And it's good into some attackers. It's really important into Zard, so you can Burning Darkness for KO. And
Copy Greninja, copy Raging Bolt attack.
yeah, really good into Bolt too. So that way you can actually raise them if you are ahead in the prizes. Yeah, nothing more to say about this.
Supporter.
Yeah, supporter lineup.
Do all of them at start.
Yeah, 4 Ino, 2 Research, 2 Boss, Turo and Cypher. So, 4 Ino is the must-have. I would add 5th one if I could. You basically play like that disrupt your opponent. You're playing. Sometimes you play aggressively, but if you do that, it's usually against matchup when you don't need to Iono and you already win. You are already winning, so you don't need to like disrupt. To research, we played in the past 1, but we added 2nd one instead of 1 shoe because it's just more consistent. We found out that it's just more consistent. It's really good into early game where you need to like draw Kirlia, Banette, and yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, there's no second like as good supporter as Iono, and research is the only like viable option.
Yeah, it's like just setting up, maybe not just setting up early game, but it's like super good to set up early game.
Like Cynthia would be better, but research is okay.
Yeah. 2 bosses orders, it's also like standard, nothing more to say about that. 1 Turo, 1 Cypher. I really like Cypher. It can like set up Monkey Dory, it can set up more Kirlian board. Sometimes you can play around Iono by setting up 2 cards on top. I really like the fact that I got 2 boss, Cypher and Prime Catcher. We'll get into that later. But like it's 4 Gust, also 5th counter catcher, but like 4 aggressive Gusts.
Yep.
This is really good. Can get Stadium if you want to bump Temple. It's basically into fighting pieces because you don't have any other way to like get specific cards from the deck, like no Pidgeot, no Irida or something
Yeah.
like that.
Also put Cypher in the discard with Kirlia and have Banette on board and Kirlia, and it's checkmate and every
Yeah.
single position.
Yeah, that Banette.
Yeah, it's baby Banette.
Yeah,
So you Cypher for 2 cards, you need for the win. GG.
yeah. And the last card, Turo. It's such a good card that we even played 2 in the past, but we found out that 1 is enough. You sometimes use it for the heal, to get more space on bench. It's really good if you draw with the Mew early game, but you don't need it later and you need a bench space, so you Turo Mew. It's sometimes good to... I had like game where I used 2 Monkey Dory 1 turn, I Turo Monkey Dory, attach first minion, so I used 3 Monkey Dory 1 turn and copy with Mew Dragapult's attack, and it was like 150 on bench.
Yeah.
So that's another plus. And yeah.
Okay. Consistency.
2 Artisan. Basically we wanted a stadium to bomb Temple, a new era something. And we didn't want to get from the consistency, so we added Artisan that is basically an S-ball, not basically, but it's pretty similar as in consistency. So that was the reasoning for Artisan, and it's not a problem if your opponent finds any basics. They do that on turn 1, maybe against Guardy, but this matchup is already like terrible, so that's not worth to consider changing it. 4 Puffin,
Yeah.
4 Ultra Ball, 3 Trekking Shoes, and 2 Nesball. That's just item search. You need 4 free shoes to get more aggressive with the draw in the early game and to thin the deck, because compared to like Guardy, you don't have many Kirlia on board in the late game. You only have like maybe 1, sometimes maybe 0. So you want to thin your deck to draw into pieces in the late game. And also in the early game, as I already said, you need to start using item lock Kirlia as a first person, because with this deck you basically go first into everything, so getting more item draw is better than supported draw. That's like another thing to consider.
Okay, the one-offs.
One-offs. Prime Catcher, Counter Catcher. So basically Counter Catcher, we held 2 Counter Catcher and 1 Prime at UIC. You had it because I didn't play, but it's enough. 2 item gas is enough, and also Prime is like better than Counter Catcher because of the switch option that you can get in turn 1. It's good because it works whenever you even if you don't, even if you are not ahead in prizes, even if you are ahead in prizes. So really good into Guardy against Drago, and overall like it's the base A-spec. We tried.
Would you consider any other A-spec in the list?
Cyclone, and I said it's really good, but it wasn't. We tested Secret Box, it wasn't good. We tested Stomp, it wasn't good. What else? I even tested
Legacy Energy.
Legacy Energy, it wasn't good. We tested everything. We even tested Giant, that stadium that is so terrible, don't play anything. But yeah, Prime Catcher felt the best, so we keeping that. One Rod, it's always one Rod. If you are bad, you are not going to like it, but you need to play it in a perfect moment, and that's all. Like 2 would be a comfort, but we need a space for consistency because it's a Banette deck, so yeah. Gemstone.
New inclusion.
New inclusion. We had before Wards we had Wasteland. On Wards we had Crushing Hammers. And now it's a 1 Gemstone. you only need one deck space for it, so that's 1+. Compared to like Wasteland, Wasteland can be bumped by Stadium. Gravity Stone can be bumped by Boss, basically, because you switch Game Stone out of the active. So it's much more worth, especially in this format where there's a lot of Era Stadium. It's really good into Zard, really good into Bolt, and I wouldn't cut it no matter what, I think. But it's just really good.
You can cut it for 4th trekking shoes. I played that at the cup.
I wouldn't change anything, but if you want to cut something, it's a gemstone. But I personally really like this card, especially with so many Zards in meta. But you sometimes not draw into it because it's only one. But I would say it's worth keeping in the deck.
Okay.
Now with the energy, it's 3/3/3.
Yep.
And 6/3. 6 psychic is always better. 6/3 split. It's always better than 5/4. We tried 5/4 and it just wasn't as good as 6/3. You need sometimes more energy to copy Bolt's attack with Mew. You need it for looping. You can do like funny things. I did it on stream. You basically have 2 Banettes. You retreat one with Gardevoir's ability and you swap damage with Monkey Dory, so it's like infinity Monkey Dory damage. So you want to draw into Psychic more consistently. 3 Luminous is just fine. You can set up 2 Monkey Dory as consistent as 5/4, and you don't need like 4th Luminion for that. So
You're being punished more when you have only 5 psychic than 3 luminous.
yeah, that's why 6/3. And sometimes someone tells me that it's for them not enough, but after like playing a lot of games with it, it's totally fine. So
This is the list. So one thing that one tip for beginning Banette players. What would that tip be? One tip.
if they have Pidgeot, just scoop.
Yeah,
Basically into anything that has Pidgeot. Maybe against Terrapagos you can still play. Okay, maybe against more, but like if you see Zard playing, setting up Pidgeot, scoop. If you see Terrapagos getting up Pidgeot, consider scooping. Dragapult maybe not. Okay, you can play that. It's not as bad. But you basically play this because you want to prevent the best card from the format, which is Pidgeot. So
okay, so know when you are losing and win 2 games.
yeah,
So scoop 1.
save time because deck is not as fast as others. So you need to be much more reasonable with your scooping and time management. So yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you guys in Gdańsk. Yeah.